Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are so happy to have you here with us tonight. We are live, and I am so excited. We've got a lot going on here, and you're noticing that something's a little bit different. We are on the Going Bold TV tonight, which I'm really excited about. Those of you that don't know, we have a brand new website out there. We've got several actually websites, so you should check us out on the goingsolonetwork.com. But we have the goingboldnetwork.com, so you can check that out and have a look at it. But I am Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. And I'm also the president of Going Solo Network. So I'm just excited to be here with you tonight. This is the Going Solo with Cece show, and we're also highlighting the Date the Right One. Date the Right One is a brand new show that we have out where we talk about dating and helping you through. And our wonderful sponsors here tonight are goingsolocommunity.com and meettherightone.com. If you don't know about those, get on your computer and check them out. goingsolocommunity.com, which is for singles. It's a brand new site, a community site, helping singles connect and move through living their best lives. And Meet the Right One is really about dating, and it's a community so that you can meet other people and kind of explore the idea of dating together and moving through that. So it's very unique, something very different, meettherightone.com. So check it out. But let's talk about our subject tonight because I think it's very interesting. Never say never. Never say never. And I was talking with someone that's very close to me, and it made me start to think. I'm going to fix this a little bit because I don't like it when I've got a ceiling fan, and when that starts going like crazy up there, it's distracting. But okay, I was talking to a friend of mine, very close friend, and the gentleman kept saying, I don't do this. I don't do that. and all good, right? There's things that he does and things that he isn't going to do. But that got me thinking about never say never. And so all the times in your life, is there times that you've ever said, I'm not going to do this, or I'm never going to do that, or I should have done this, or, that whole saying, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? And so often we start kind of programming ourselves, right, as we move through life. And so those of you that are out there that are making a transition in your life, you're starting to think, I want something different. Where I'm at now maybe isn't working for me, or I want something new and exciting, right? And so you want to make this transition into something new. And so you're asking yourself, how can I do that? Well, the biggest thing that holds us back is saying that we're never going to do something. Because how many times have we said we're never going to do something and we actually end up doing it? Well, I've got a trick for you. The reason why we end up doing it is because we put that out in the universe that we're never going to do it. And sometimes either we're not going to do it, right? It's not going to come to us because that vibration is so low, or the negative is going to pop back up to us, and the things that we least want in our lives are going to happen. So we never want to say we never ever want to do something, right? So it's really very, very important that we kind of start getting ourselves more into a positive mode as we're moving forward in our lives. And the reason we want to do this is because, think about it for a minute. If we are telling ourselves we never want to do something, could it be that we truly don't understand the true experience of that, And I hear it a lot when we're talking about dating, right? When we're talking, or even when a lot of people that I help through divorce, they always say, I'm never going to be in another relationship again. I'm never going to get married again. I'm never going to, we have got a list of nevers a mile long, right? And the same thing with dating. I tell myself I want this, this, and this, right? But I am not going to do this, this, and this, right? And so we put these parameters on ourselves that are just not going to exist, right? They're just not going to happen for us. And the reason being, here's the trick of it. And we might have a very short show tonight, but the reason being is because you're not the same person as you were before, right? With each day, with each step, with each movement of life, you are experiencing something new. Your horizons are opening a little bit broader. And you're not the same person you were back then when you said, I'm never going to do this, right? I'm never going to do that. So I want to share with you some of the experiences that I have in my life that I've said I'm never going to do, right? And I can start back very, very young saying that, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have children early enough, right? Well, I got married very young and I had children very young. And so here you go. At the end of that, I said to myself, that's it. No more kids. I'm not going to have any more kids. I'm never going to have any more kids. And then I ended up having a wonderful boy who's now in college, who's been a joy in my life. And I can't imagine my life not being with him, right? Then I said to myself after my divorce, I am never, ever going to be, in love again. I am never going to put my heart out there again. I am never going to let myself be hurt again. And then I started thinking, what would my life be like without that experience, right? Without that love and that joy within my life. And so I started opening myself up to more and more. When I first started dating, I tell you, I met some great guys and they were all 100% in. And I was like, I couldn't walk backwards fast enough. And I just wasn't ready, right? As many of you, as you move forward in your life, you're not quite ready for those steps that you need to take moving forward. But that's okay because it just means that you maybe need a little bit more time and a little bit more space in your life to be able to grow, to be able to move forward into those, right? So we never want to say never, right? Because we close ourselves out and off to experiences that we just we would just miss in life. And who knows what our life would be like if we open the door and we allow things to happen. So let's start talking about a shift in being positive. Whenever you catch yourself saying, I don't do this, or I will not do that, like today, I'll tell you an example. Today, it happened to me. I said, I'm not going camping, right? I'm not a camper. I'm not going to go camping. Guess what? I have been talked into going glamping. so so I'm going to do that. And I think that will work for me. So you have to broaden your horizon a little bit more and make some compromises. So the one that wanted to go camping is now going glamping with me. So it's that kind of thing. So you broaden your horizon a little bit more. You start thinking more into the positive, and guess what? More positive things come to you. And so many times I think we have a sheltered life because we allow ourselves to live in a box, right? And can you imagine what it would be like if we lived outside of that box looking in, right? Versus living in the box looking through the pane of glass or maybe the crack of the door. But can you imagine what it would be like in life if we say to ourselves, I'm not going to say I'm not going to do this, you know? If we say to ourselves, I'm going to leave that door open and I'm going to experience everything that I can possibly experience. Now, I understand there's limitations to what we do, right? We have to have limitations because we're human, right? We just have to have it. But we can open ourselves up to new experiences and new horizons and new ways of thinking so that we can actually move forward in our lives in a more positive way. But the thing is what we want to do is not only move forward in a positive way, but we want to do it in a constructive way that's going to bring something back to us, right? And back to this goodness that we so inspire to be able to have. I've listened to many people as we've moved through the transition of our lives, and as they're moving through, and they're saying to themselves, I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can step forward. So here are some things that we want to think about as we go. There's no single answer to this question. The process of a change is different for everyone. And I wrote down some notes here on this. And so I want to give you some general tips on being able to move forward in your life. And the first one is evaluate your life and identify the areas in which you would like to see change. Now, we have that. All of us have areas in our life that we want to see change. We want to see a shift happen within our lives, right? So we want to step behind or step aside the notion that we don't want something, or we don't want to do something. And if we don't want to do it, what is the reason that's holding us back from it? Is it legitimate? Is it something legitimate that you truly don't want to experience? Or is it something that's blocking you, a fear or something like that? Or maybe you've been hurt and you're a little bit worried about moving forward in your life, doing this particular thing. So you just need to take a little bit more time and evaluate it, step back on it. So look at those areas in your life that you're starting to feel like you're closed down, or you're not going out and seeing people. You know, we had a lot of times, when we're moving forward from a relationship loss, that we get settled, right? We get settled in our ways. We want to stay there, and we're a little bit afraid about moving forward. Is that the reason that you're not stepping forward and doing something? Are we using COVID as an excuse not to be able to propel ourselves into meeting new people and experiencing new things? Are we using COVID as an excuse, as a fear? Is that our fear blocker? Now, that's real. I mean, it's real to think that, people are worried about being sick, or things like that. But there's precautions you can take. If you've been vaccinated or boosted or whatever, you can wear a mask. You can do various different things. Wear gloves if you want to. Do whatever you need to do to be able to help you move forward in a way that you feel comfortable. But don't let something stop you from moving forward in your life. Don't let the fear of what could possibly happen to prevent you from what really is going to happen, right? As you move forward. And so that's what's very important to us as we start to experience life. So identify those areas that you are holding back, that you are keeping a reserve, and then ask yourself, why are you doing that? Is it legitimate reasons? Am I putting up a wall to block out other people? Am I stopping them from coming forward with me? Am I saying I'm not going to do this for a certain reason, that's going to prevent people from coming into your lives? So often, as we're dating, as we're moving forward in that transition of dating, we put up all these parameters of what we want, right? What we want of that, what we expect of that other person. We expect these things of the other person, but we also put up these parameters for ourselves, what we're not going to give someone else. And you've heard me time and time say that if we're going to move forward and have someone in our lives, we have to not only be willing to accept what they have to offer us, but we also have to be willing to give. And what are we bringing to the table? And if we're bringing to the table all these negative things that we're not going to experience and we're not going to do, what a shame that's going to be, because that's going to create a block for you. So you want to identify these things. You want to start creating a shift. And I'm saying, you don't have to make a huge, jump leap here to start changing your life, but start creating a shift in your life. Start saying, you know what, I'll leave myself open to a little bit of this, like I did with the camping. I may say, I didn't want to camp, but I also said, I don't want to do it when it's mosquitoes are out, right? So I'll go in the colder area. So I'm making a compromise, right? And I'm going to go a little bit more glamping versus, the tent with the stuff on the floor and whatever. So yeah, I make a little bit of concessions, right? Move in those little bit of baby steps. And I know it's kind of a funny example to give, but it's there. The other thing is, make a commitment to yourself to work on the changes in these areas. So often as we're moving forward, right, we tell ourselves, okay, I identify the problem. I identify where I'm at with this. I see what I'm doing to holding myself back. But have you truly made a commitment to be able to move forward? Have you identified the things that you need to do to be able to take that extra step? Maybe you need to, if it's like a new job that you want to experience, something new that you want to do, have you, start looking into the education, something further you can do for yourself. YouTube is a great source to be able to go on, and doesn't cost you a thing. You go on, you listen to videos, you start absorbing some of those things. And the truth of it is that the more we absorb, the more, Alexa, she starts telling me stuff. The more we absorb, the more we start creating a shift in our lives, right? Because we start taking away that barrier of fear as we move forward. She's funny. I'm going to have to unplug her because as I'm talking, she thinks I'm talking to her. So we're going to keep on going. But it breaks up my train of thought as I'm moving through this commitment. Oh, okay. I wanted to share with you, if those of you that you haven't heard my story regarding the radio, right? I went in on a friend of mine. I went on a talk show of hers. And when I came out of the talk show, I was nervous, just like everybody that's ever been on our shows here, and bless them for coming on, all of our wonderful guests. But I was very nervous, right? And so I got through it, and I came out, and then I was offered a show of my own. The owner of the studio and his son were there, and the owner, both owners, and they offered me a show. And I thought, you know what? First, I thought, oh, this is silly. How could I possibly do something like this, right? And then I started thinking, you know what? I have to step outside of the box. If they see something within me, I had no idea where my future was going to go, what I was going to do. And as I was moving through my transition of going through divorce and figuring out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, I really felt like my life was over. And so I wanted to try to get through that feeling, through that other side of that, because I knew deep in my heart that my life wasn't over. I just had to figure out how I was going to get through to the other side and what I was going to do on the other side. So I was offered this show, and I just told myself, you know what, I got to gut it up and I got to do it. And so I listened to different shows, various other people doing it. And when and these were just podcasts, so there weren't any videos, thank goodness, or I don't know if I would have done it at the very beginning, but I did it. And when my very first show, I thought I was going to pass out. I mean, I was so nervous, so upset over it, so fearful of it, that I really got my knickers in a twist, and it was hard for me to be able to get through, but I did. I got through it. And here I am today on the other side of it doing these live videos, which I told myself I would never do. But the reality is, you have to start making that transition in your life if you want to do something different, if you want to experience something different. And I will tell you, and I will share with you, the most beautiful thing is doing something that you really thought you could never do, and then finding out you could actually do it. You could actually conquer that, and be able to do that, and achieve what it is that you set out to do. So don't give up if there's something out there that you want to do. Many people that go through the divorce transition with me have been inspired to reach beyond what they ever imagined they could do, and do the things that maybe they put aside, that they didn't think that they could do, right? And they've now conquered, the arts. They've done a lot of wonderful things, and artistry, and painting, and really tapping into their core, right? And so they made a commitment to themselves that even though they're going to start out doing something and not be very good at it, as I did at the very, and I don't even think I'm very good at it now, but I just hang in there and do it, because I feel the reason people love us is because we're real, we're natural, right? We're just like anyone out there going through some of the difficulties in life. And so if you can hang on to that and know that understand your core value and what it truly is that you want to achieve in your life, what you want to experience in your life, and hang on to that and just start doing it in baby steps until you start being better at it, right? Because you will get better at what you do. It's like anything that we start out with, we don't do well. And like a baby, when they start walking, they fall and they teeter all over, and they're fumbling and they, get right back up again, right? And that's truly what we have to do. So we have to make a commitment to ourselves. And again, you have to identify the steps you need to do to make the changes and begin taking them. Now, that is a really, and that's a difficult thing sometimes to do, is take those steps, start making those steps. So what I would suggest to you, do it the old fashioned way. Sit down, write down on a piece of paper, one side why you want to do something and the other side why you don't want to do it, right? And see if the why on the positive side outweighs the negativeness of it, right? So don't say that you don't know, you don't want to do something. I say, don't say it. But the reality is you'll find that what you truly want to do, that side will be filled, right? Then start taking your action steps, figuring out what it is that you need to do in order to start achieving this. How do you start educating yourself enough to be able to move forward? How do you start making yourself comfortable with this? How do you start making a true commitment to step forward, right? Allowing time, right? You've got to allow yourself time to be able to start doing it. Like if we're talking about dating, because so many people that I talk to are now in that realm of wanting to date. They're into that, the progression of it. And so as they started out with that transition, at first they weren't so sure if they really wanted to date, right? So they started thinking about the reasons why they wanted to do that. So the very first steps would be going out in groups, trying to mingle with both men and women, it's kind of a safety zone, right? When you start doing that. And that's why Meet the Right One and the Going Solo community are so important, because they are communities where you can mingle and talk with each other that are on the same level that you're at, where you're at, how what you're experiencing, how you're moving through it. So the first thing you want to do is commingle with individuals that are like-minded like you, and both men and women. So when you do that, you are in that comfortable zone, right? You are in that zone where you can actually communicate with other people without truly putting yourself so in. Then as you start moving through that transition and you decide that you do want to continue dating, you do want to have someone in your life, then you have to start thinking to yourself, how much do I want someone in my life? What do I want to do? And the reason I say that is because as you start building relationships with individuals, you can design a relationship that you want. But here's that never say never again. So often we say to ourselves, well, I certainly don't want to get married again, right? We say that. I've said it, right? And then we say, well, I certainly don't want to live with someone again, right? Yeah. So I've said it, and many people have said it. So then they start whittling it down and whittling it down. But as they start opening that door and they start allowing themselves to be exposed, right? And you're going to have some hardships along the way. You're going to have some hurts along the way. But the hurts that you have along the way are really growing pains for you. Because with each relationship, you learn something more about yourself. With each relationship you have, whether it be a serious relationship, or a man and woman relationship, and those of you that are out there listening that are don't have men and women relationships, you have the other relationship, whatever, you still experience that, right? You still experience that feeling of sometimes a little bit of disappointment and loss and and hurt as you move forward. But with each one, you get closer to the right one, right? And that's why we named the site "Meet the Right One," because with each step you take as you move forward in growing, you learn more about yourself, and you learn who is the right one when you meet them. I've often said many times to those that are out there dating, would you know the right one if you met them? Would you know it? Right? So often I think we miss the right one when we're so busy telling ourselves that we're not going to move forward in our lives. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this subject, because I think it's very important that we, as we grow, that we understand and we learn as we keep going forward. Because so often when those are experiencing any kind of disappointment as they move forward in that transition of dating, they they want to close the door on dating. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to talk about how to still put your foot in that door, right? And have it open and still be able to achieve what you truly want to achieve in life. So this is Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. And you'll find me right here on the Going Solo WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is both the Going Solo with Cece show and the Date the Right One show. I'm kind of combining the two together because we're talking about dating and life issues, a transition of moving forward in your life, which is so valuable and so important. I do again want to thank our sponsors, goingsolocommunity.com and meettheright1.com, and please check them out. They support us, and I am affiliated with both of those sites, so that you know. You guys ever want to reach me, you can reach me at the goingsolonetwork.com, and my email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And then all of our media that you'll find, everything that we do here on Facebook, YouTube, and a lot of other things we do, it's goingsolomedia.com. We've got something new on there. You can join our fan club if you want. The monies that we're charging $10 a year, those funds go into the station, and they help other hosts and to be able to bring their shows forward to us to keep the costs down for them. So that's what we do, is try to keep the costs down so that everyone can enjoy this wonderful station that we have. So I will be right back. Stick around and enjoy the commercial. We'll be right back with you. And I've got to work the board here. So we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the #1 internet singles talk network, and we have a brand new site here. It's called Going Bold. We're doing Going Bold Wednesday, and we love being able to do that and bring these wonderful shows here to you. You guys are listening to both datetherightone.com. I'm sorry, Date the Right One show, and we are also going to be on Going Solo with Cece, and this is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We have sponsors, which is goingsolocommunity.com and meettherightone.com. So that's what we have. Those of you that don't know me, I am I'm fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I'm a divorce, dating, and a life coach. I've been connecting singles through the Going Solo Network for many years now. You can find everything on goingsolonetwork.com. So let's talk a little bit more about never say never. We were talking the beginning of the part of the show on really trying to stop the negative in our lives, really center on the positive. And some of the things for doing that, some of the key steps of doing that is evaluate your life and identify the areas in which you would like to see change. So you want to evaluate your life and identify the areas you want to change. You want to make a commitment to yourself to work on changing these areas, and you want to identify the steps that it needs to be able to start making those changes, right? And the last thing is you want to preserve your efforts, even though when things are tough. Changing your life for the better is not easy, but it's certainly worth it. And so when we were closing out the first half of the show there, we were talking about and I think we have to talk about the negative, right? When things happen that you put yourself out there and you started making this transition and you're doing something different, and it can be anything. It can be the transition of dating. It can be the transition of maybe starting to build your new single life, right? Because a lot of us are I remember going from the divorce and being totally alone and having no friends, nothing. I moved from Fort Lauderdale here, and I did have some high school friends, but was very distant and not certainly somebody that I really could go to as a go-to person, even though some of them really reached out to me and were very wonderful to me and have always been there for me. But when you start embarking on this new life of being single, right, and you're coming from a relationship loss, you're in so much pain as you're moving through, and you have so much negative in your life, right? You're feeling just downright lost and very fearful of what is going to be happening in the future. And so you have to start envisioning something that's on the horizon, even though it's not there, right? And so that's sometimes hard to do, but you do have to start looking to the other side of the pain that you're in, the other side of the difficulties that you've gone through. And we cannot think, right? We cannot expect everybody to be as was in our past, right? So as we're moving forward into new relationships, building new relationships, we can't think that everybody that we come across is going to be as negative, or the result is going to be as negative with them as it was maybe with our exes. So we have to start putting on this new like a new visor, right, as we're moving through, and start beginning to have a little bit of tunnel vision to see that something is better on the other side. But the reality is, if we're going to get to the other side and something's better on the other side, guess what? We got to make that happen for us. And we're not going to be making it happen if we never say never, right? If we say never. And so what we have to do is start putting ourselves in the driver's seat to be able to move forward, and thinking that whatever happens to us as we move forward, whether it's negative or not, that's a learning experience for it. And so what we want to do is we want to stop for a minute and think to ourselves, what can I take from this, right? If you stepped forward and you started dating and you started doing something new and it didn't work out, what can I take from this, right? What can I take from this relationship? Maybe there was something about the other person that didn't work out for you, right? So those are things that maybe you realize that maybe you don't necessarily want in your life, or you want something different. then you have to ask yourself, what is it about me that maybe did this? Because equally so, if that relationship didn't work out, equally so, it didn't work out for the other person, right? So you got to think about that. If it didn't work out for the other person, could it be something that I need to address? And so those are the things that you want to start thinking about. Same thing with a job. Have you ever gone into a job and then you realize, that you didn't get it? You didn't get the interview didn't go well. Well, why didn't the interview go well? Was it truly someone on the other side asking you the questions? Were you prepared for them? Were you putting your best foot forward? Did you look your best? Were you ready for answering the questions? You'll be better next time, won't you? You know? So it's all about really practice, right? Execution and practice as we move forward in life. It's all about not beating ourselves up and not closing the door and saying that we're not going to do something. We're not going to experience something new. We're not going to let ourselves be open to something else. Now, I know that there are things that you're going to say no to. I realize that there's things you are going to say no to. That's okay. It's all right to do that. But what I'm going to ask you, before you say no again, before you say, I'm not going to do this, right? I'm never going to do this. I want you to ask yourself, why? Just stop for a minute and don't react, and ask yourself, why am I saying I don't want to do this? Why am I limiting myself? Because that's all it is. You're limiting you when you say you're not going to do something. You limit, experiences that are going to happen in your life. Something that maybe you might have a fear. Like, for instance, I have a fear of heights, and believe me, I'm not going to be jumping off no bridge, no bungee jumping. So I got a legitimate reason why I say no. So is your never a legitimate reason, right? Or is it something that I'm just not going to do right now? I'm just not ready to make that step right now. And if that's the case, then that's okay. Because it doesn't mean never, right? It just means not now. And so that's what I want to leave you with. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. I hope that this helped you as you move forward. You want to leave those doors open. I often say, I don't know if anybody ever hears about it, but I do say this, is that many, many times there's a door wide open for me, right? It's right there. All I got to do is walk through that door. But not me. I got to climb through the window. I have to make it hard on myself to be able to get to the other side. So I'm going to ask you today to walk through that door, right? I'm going to ask you if you need to ponder, at the threshold, if you need to ponder a bit and think about what you truly want out of your life and where you want to go, and think about what you need to do to evaluate moving forward, that's okay. But just keep that door open as you're pondering. Just allow it and allow yourself to look beyond what could possibly be there for you and start dreaming as to what you truly want. And then as you start to move forward, take baby steps and learn more about yourself each bit of the way. Understand, shoot, why did I do this? Why am I stopping myself? Why do I not want to do this? And the more you understand about yourself, the more you can let things go and move forward, right? That's what it's all about, is moving forward in your life. I wish you all the very best. And if you ever need me, all you have to do is contact me on Going Solo Network at gmail.com. It's Going Solo Network at gmail.com. I personally read all of your emails. So I hope that you will do that. And if you want to join our little fan club and help out some of the hosts here, because we would like to keep our costs down, because like everything in the world, everything's going up in expenses. So if you want to help us to keep us on the air, we appreciate that. You just go to goingsolonetwork.com and join us there. Goingsolonetwork.com has everything on, all of our websites are on there. All the things that we have for singles, we're doing so much now. I barely can keep up with everything that we're doing. I want to thank our sponsors tonight, which is goingsolocommunity.com and meettherightone.com. Please check out those sites and let us know what you think about those. And we'd love to have you join us. We have a special going on. So if you guys want to do this, you need to hop on the train right away. You can use this code Get Started 2022, and you got to use the spaces and use the caps to get in. So we're making it a little bit tricky for you. So it's Get Started 2022, and so you'll have a time period there that you get a free that you can actually join. But as you'll see, they're extremely reasonable and they're new, so we want to get you in at the very beginning. Those that are coming into the site at the beginning, we're going to consider you loyal, loyal friends, and we will certainly make it worth your while. So we want you to do that. Well, I hope that you guys will never say never. And it has been a joy to be with you tonight. You guys are listening to Going Solo with Cece on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And also, we're going to share this on Date the Right One on WGSN also. You guys, we are the #1 singles talk network. We're very proud of that. We are also on Roku. I never say it right, but Roku. We're on Amazon TV, and we're just so happy that everyone out there is listening to us, and we want to thank you for your support. So this is Going Bold TV on our Going Bold Wednesday, and I'm going to ask you to please be bold as you move forward in your life. Don't let someone or something or even yourself hold you back. Move forward in a positive direction. When you see yourself or you feel yourself holding back, right, and you start embracing the negative, let it go and move forward towards a positive. Understand that you have control of your life. You're in the driver's seat. So why not enjoy it and have a fun ride? So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like us and subscribe to our channel. We're on live here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please subscribe. And, we're on Instagram and we're on everything. So you can find us readily. And just remember the Going Solo Network. Love you guys. Take care. Bye for now.